Hi everyone, this is Dikshit. Welcome to my channel. In this particular video, we will going to discuss about Kubernetes interview questions and answers. With me, Vikram is there, and this is the second video on Kubernetes questions and answers. If you have not watched the first video, please do watch it. I'll leave a link in description. Also, in this video, so we will going to discuss about labels and selectors. In first video, we had spoken about architecture of Kubernetes, and also we had spoken about like questions on pods, replica sets, and deployment. But in this video, especially, we will going to discuss about labels and selectors. So these concepts are very easy maybe to understand, but very important thing. So we will use different scenarios and we will discuss more and more questions on labels and selectors. So hi Vikram.
Hi Dikshit.
Hey. So today we will gonna discuss about a few questions on labels and selectors. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you please let me know so why we need labels and what is the importance of labels?
Yeah. So coming to the Kubernetes cluster, yesterday we talked about the various components of a Kubernetes cluster, how to deploy various pods into the Kubernetes cluster, right? So even a small Kubernetes cluster, if you take, there will be hundreds of Kubernetes objects like pods, services, deployments, replica sets. So if you name objects, there are more than 20 plus objects, right? So even a small Kubernetes cluster will have plenty of these objects. So quickly it becomes very annoying to find out various objects inside the cluster. Let's say I have 1,000 pods running and I have 10 applications. So gathering or collecting pods from only particular application, sometimes it will be very difficult for us in order to filter them depending upon some name or depending upon some application or depending upon the use case they solve. So it becomes very difficult. So in this case, what we do is we'll label these pods or the any of the Kubernetes objects. So let's say I have an application which is my front end application, and it is for a customer like XYZ customer, and this is for a test environment. So I can label these the resources for that application in such a way that I can easily find out them using these labels. So these labels are nothing but these are the key value pairs. So the key, we assign some key, and we give that key a value. Let's say I have certain pods that has to be run in a test environment. So one of my key can be environment equal to test, and the other key can be uh, project equal to some project name, or some business unit equal to the business unit name. So I can label these resources inside the cluster, and I can filter them at later point of time. Let's say I wanted to filter all the resources which belong to a particular business unit. Since I've already labeled them, so it is easier for me to filter them, right? So we can label pods, services, deployments, and even nodes also, right? These labels concept is very important inside the Kubernetes platform, because using labels we can do manual scheduling. We can put some pods under a service for the load balancing. So there are plenty of use cases. So that is where um, labels comes into the picture.
Okay. So let's say, for example, so I've created a deployment. With that, I've created one. Okay. So assume like it's a front-end application itself. So I've created one deployment for front-end application. Regarding to that, for the same, I've created a service. So
Okay.
service is created properly, and also when I check the pod health and whatever which has been created by deployment, even that is fine. But when I send a request, so there is some issue, means it is not responding. So what do you think? What might be the reason? Like when you're given a chance, like what is the first thing that you want to check?
Okay. The first thing which I do is a service matches all the pods, right? Using the labels. So it takes the pod labels and then uses it as a selector. So first thing I'll do is whether the selector is properly mentioned for the service. If it is properly mentioned, then obviously so we'll get the endpoints. So every service will have endpoints. So that defines what all the pods it is managing. right? So first I'll check the endpoints. If there is no if there are no endpoints for that service, then definitely there is a selector issue, because we'll handle the labels in the manifest files. But if you are not giving proper selectors in the service manifest, then it won't create the endpoint. So the first thing which I do with the traffic is not redirecting to the pod instances. The first thing which I do is checking the selectors of the service.
Okay, you mean to say you're going to check the selector in the service should match with the labels which you have defined in deployment file of a pod.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and let's say, for example, you have created a service. Okay, so and you have created 3 replicas of one application. Okay, so
Okay.
now traffic is working fine, which is redirected to all 3 pods and all. But now one more pod you're going to create with the same label. Okay, assume like label is env is equals to dev in all the 3 pods. And now you are adding one more pod. So somebody is creating by using kubectl run and they're creating that one. And it has a label with env is equals to dev. In that case, the traffic, whichever it gets to service, will be redirected to only those 3 pods, or will it be considering that pod also and it will gonna send the traffic to the 4th pod also?
It will send the traffic to the fourth pod as well, because the service keeps monitoring the labels. Whenever a pod if it is a pod which is killed and it came up, so selector will identify that and it will bring under its load balancing algorithm. Similarly, if a new pod is created with the same labels that the service is using as a selector, then service will take that pod also in under its load balancing algorithm. That means that, so this traffic from any other pod will also be diverted or the redirected to this pod instance as well.
Okay, let's say I've created the pod and now I want to see the labels of that particular pod. So which has been created by somebody.
Okay.
What are the labels which has been attached to the pod? So do you know the command for that?
Yeah. So you want me to fetch the labels for that pod which are already existing, right?
Yes,
So
right.
so I would do kubectl get pods, and then you want uh, all the pod labels or a particular pod. If it is a particular pod, I would give the pod name over here, and then I
Mhm.
would give hyphen hyphen show labels. So this will show me all the pod labels.
Okay.
Labels of this particular pod. If I just remove this pod name, it is going to give the labels for all the pods which are running in that particular namespace.
Okay. So and also, for example, let's say while creating Kubernetes pods or like a replica set or a deployment, obviously, internally it will create pods only, right? So I
Yes.
forgot to give the labels in manifest file, or if the pods are created through a command line. So I
Mhm.
forgot to mention the labels. So in that case, what are all the, is there any default label which will be added to the pod?
Yes. So if you're not giving any labels in the manifest file, if you're doing a deployment through declarative way, or if you're not giving any labels when you're using kubectl run, okay, so by default, what Kubernetes will do, it will add a default label which is run and colon. So the name of the object. Suppose if you're creating a pod, so obviously you'll be giving a name to that pod, right? That name will usually go to the metadata. Under metadata, you'll give name as the key, right? So the name equal to some pod name. So that name which are giving to that resource will be taken as the label. So run will be the key, and the resource name goes as the value. Okay, let's say I'm creating kubectl run nginx as the, I'm sorry, it is fancy. So nginx as the name of the pod, and the image I would be using any nginx image, right? Nginx colon latest. So this is the name of the resources, the pod I'm using. Then if I'm not giving any label to that pod, so Kubernetes will assign this as the default label.
Okay. Okay. And also, for example, let's say there is already a pod is created. Okay. I want to add a new label. So somebody has already created the pod through manifest or through command line.
Okay.
Like they've created through command line only. You can see line number 10 kubectl run nginx, image nginx, and latest, right? So as
Okay.
you mentioned, like it will gonna add a few
Yeah.
default
Correct.
labels. With
Yes.
that, so now I want to add few more labels. So will that
Okay.
be possible?
Yes, you can use kubectl label command.
Mhm.
Okay, so using label, you can select the resource. So let's say I'm selecting, I wanted to add some labels to a pod. Then it is kubectl label pod and the name of the pod that I wanted to add the labels, and the pod name goes here. And then I can give the labels, like if I wanted to add environment as dev to that. Okay, and I wanted to add business unit is equal to some IoT something, and then what do you say, the app is equal to some nginx. Okay, so I can add labels directly using the imperative commands like this.
Okay, for example, now you have added this env is equals to dev, bu is equals to IoT, and app is equals to nginx. And
Yes.
now, so let's say, for example, bu has been changed. Now, recently they have changed the bu name to uh, IoT DevOps. Let's say IoT DevOps. Okay,
Okay.
so I want to override this particular label. So bu is equal to IoT DevOps. Will that be possible?
Yes, it is possible. So it is again the same command, kubectl label pod, and the pod name goes here, right? The pod name, and the label which I wanted to you mean to say you wanted to change this label, right? So then you
Yes.
take this label, but the value you change it to the latest value. So you're changing IoT DevOps, right? And then if you run this command, it won't you know it will give an error because the bu label is already there. So if you wanted to change it, you have to use hyphen hyphen overwrite. Okay, so yeah, overwrite.
Okay. Yeah. So now, let's say, for example, you have created this label, will be overwritten, and now the team decides wherein like we have too many labels. Let's say ENV is dev and BU is IoT and app is equals to NGINX. Now I want to remove app is equal to NGINX because I don't want it. So maybe with the image name or like with some other way. So wherein I can fetch this app name. So I want to remove this app is equals to NGINX label.
You want
Already
to
created pods. Is that possible?
yes, so you wanted to, so what I'll do is I'll take the kubectl label pod and the name of the pod where I wanted to remove that label, and then what you could do is you can use hyphen l to for filtering the labels, and then you wanted to remove this,
Vikram, could
right?
you please little louder because
Okay, so you wanted to remove the app, right? So you can just do app
yes.
and then put hyphen. So what it will do, it will just remove the app label. So obviously it will also remove the value. So you're removing the this particular label, app label.
Okay. And do you know what are annotations? Why it is?
Annotations, yes, annotations. Yeah. So annotations are also like labels. Okay, but we don't use annotations for filtering or for selecting any sort of resources inside the cluster. Okay, we use labels because we wanted to filter out some resources, and we can group them together. But annotations are not like that. Annotations are like non-identifying metadata, so which Kubernetes don't use internally. Okay, even if you don't give any annotations, it won't care. But annotations are needed for the external tools and libraries. Okay, let's say you have Istio or you have Prometheus. So these are all the external tools that we talk to inside the cluster, right? So they might need some extra settings, right? Let's say I have an application and the application exposes the metrics at probably like slash metrics, and also it exposes, excuse me, it exposes the health at some endpoint, okay, called health. Okay, so I have to say Prometheus where exactly I expose the matrices, right? Then I can give this metadata in the annotation section so that the Prometheus can read it. Okay, right? Even in the Istio or even in the ingress controllers, we'll select the ingress class. Okay, so these are not used by Kubernetes. They are no, they won't affect the pod in any way, but these are needed for the extra tools and utilities that talk to the Kubernetes. Okay, so if you want, I can write some annotation. So basically these annotations go into metadata section. Inside the metadata, we know that we give the name of that object, like nginx pod. Okay, and then our user annotations goes here. Okay, so I can annotate, give any annotation. So probably I can use the same labels which I am using here: environment, dev, business unit, like that. These are also annotations because these are just the metadata, right? I can use them like env colon it is dev. And then coming to the Prometheus, right? So Prometheus expects some sort of matrices. Like I wanted to define a Prometheus scrape point. Okay, then I can just use the path, which is slash metrics. Okay, and then if there is a port, okay, so Prometheus port is also have to be mentioned. Then I can do that using I think it is port. So port I can give the Prometheus ports, it is 9090 or any port which I have defined, right? So that also, so these are all the metadata that the Prometheus tool can read from this object. Okay.
You mean to say if you want to integrate your Kubernetes objects with any extra external systems or external tools, maybe this annotations will be helpful in that case.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And so do you know, I mean, we have already spoke about that selector and services and all, but I want you to explain like a little more about the selectors in Kubernetes.
Okay, see, we label the resources inside the pod, right? But once you label them, we have to use them somehow. We need to group them or we need to filter them. So for filtering, we need some rules for filtration. Like I wanted to filter pods belong to the dev environment, or I want to filter pods only which are, you know, for this business unit. Okay, so how do I filter them? It is through selectors. So using selectors, I can filter objects based on labels which I've already created. Okay, and coming to the types of selectors, so I have two types of selectors. The first one is it is equality based selector, and the other one is set based selector. So set based selectors is a latest one. Okay, and yes, you're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know which object of Kubernetes uses equality based and which object uses set based?
Yeah, so equality based selectors are used by the older replication controller, and even the services, yes, services also use this equality based selectors. And coming to the set based selectors, your replica set, okay, which is the replacement for the replication controller. The replica set uses, even the deployment uses, um, yeah, these set based selectors.
Okay. So if given a chance, like which one do you prefer, equality based or set based selector?
I usually prefer set-based selectors because these are more expressive. Equality-based
Okay.
selectors, as the name indicates, I mean, they are hard requirement. Like, so either it is a yes or it is a no. But in case of set-based selectors, I can, you know, it is a soft-based requirement. So I can just say, like, select some pods which are in dev or which are in um, test. I can have that kind of you know, set based operation, like or operation, end operation, not operation. But in case of equality, I can have only equal or not equal. That's it. I cannot have the other kind of operations.
Okay. So can you maybe can you write a selector part? So let's say, for example, you service manifest file. So you're writing a service manifest file. I want you to write a selector part. Okay, wherein you will choose a specific pod. So would you be able to write that?
Yes, so in case of services, so if you see the spec section of the service, so we have a selector, right? Selector for that service. And let's say I have a deployment, and that deployment is managing three instances of that pod. And it is using the selector as the pod labels. So it has chosen a common pod label called app is equal to some nginx something. So now even if I have to manage those three pods and bring them under this service, so I have to use the same uh, the label inside the selector section.
Okay. So and so I'll ping you a few of the commands. Okay. So let me ping you that. So you can take them and put it in your notepad. Did you get it? Like I've sent you.
Okay, you send me something.
Yes.
Yeah, I received. Okay, what are these? These are some questions
These
or
are the
something.
commands. So which basically creates a pot in each. Okay, with a different labels.
Okay, so it is nginx one, image is nginx. For everyone it is nginx image. Okay, so while creating some pod resources, he already defined some labels, right? So this one got three labels.
Yes,
The
right.
last one got the two labels. Okay, fine. Yes.
Now I want to filter few pods. So for example, let's say I want to select all the pods which are running in dev and prod. So
Okay, you
can
want
you, yeah, I
yeah,
want to
you
list only the pods which are running in dev and prod.
okay. So if I have to talk about selecting, so I have to talk about how the equality and set based selectors work.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
please
so
go ahead.
okay, so the thing is equality based selectors which we talked about, right? So what how these work is, let's say I wanted to select a pod with the label app nginx. So equality based selectors, how will I use is, so I have to use app equal to nginx. Okay, so it is that requirement. Let's say I wanted to select all the pods uh, with no let's say which doesn't belong to a front end service. Okay, then in that case I can use app not equal to I can say front end. Okay, so what it is doing is it will select all the pods without label as front end. Okay, let's say I have many pods with app is equal to uh, backend, app is equal to db, app is equal to front end, so such kind of labels. So now this will do, it will filter out all the pods except for the pods which has app and front end as the label. Similarly, in case of set based selectors, I can be more expressive in this case. Okay, let's say I have many pods and with across many environments. Okay, I have pods in uat, pods in qa, pods in dev prod. Okay, but I wanted to select only pods in, let's say, qa and uat. Then I can say environment in, okay, qa comma uat. Okay, so what this will do is, so this in here indicates environment in qa or uat. That means it will select all pods from qa as well as the uat as well. So if you see here, I'm kind of using or operation here, but in this case here, this is exactly it's an equality operator. App is equal to nginx, so it will select all labels with app is equal to nginx. Here I can have or operation, so it will select both qa and uat. Okay, now I wanted to, let's say I have multiple applications. So some are iot applications and some are front end applications, some are many application. Okay, so I wanted to select all the applications and except for some applications. Okay, so I can say app not in. Okay, so this not in becomes a single word. Not in, I would say, front end comma, let's say back end. So what this will do here is it will select all the applications, okay, with app as the label and value, not front end and not back end. Okay, so it will select all the other labels, but it won't select the front end and back end labels. Okay, so this is not a not operation. Similarly, I can filter uh, you know filter the resources which has a certain key. I don't care about the value they carry. Okay, let's say here I'm just saying app is equal to nginx. Nginx is the value, but I don't want to care about the value. I just wanted to see if any pod has a label called app. Then I can say just that label value, just app. So it will select all the pods with app. Okay, now I wanted to select all the resources which doesn't have app as the label. Simply I can put not here. So it is a negative negation. Okay, so these are this is how we use equal 10 set based selectors. So now coming to the your question, right? So you're asking about selecting me pods which are running in dev and prod, right?
Yes, that is right.
So dev and prod. So what I can do is I can do it in multiple ways. So the first thing is, if I clearly click here, I have dev, prod and QA. So QA is the third option. Okay, so what I can do is I can just use kubectl get pod, and then I will hyphen L use for the filtering, which are the labels hyphen L, or else I can also use hyphen selector, but I'm just, it is a simple way using hyphen L. Then what I'll do is I'll use env not equal to QA. Okay, so this labels has to be quoted. Okay, and then env not equal to QA. If env not equal to QA, the rest of the options are prod and dev. So it will select all the resources which has dev and prod. Okay, but if I have to do it in a straightforward way. Okay, so environment is dev and environment is prod. As we discussed, I can use the in operator. So it is kubectl get pure hyphen L environment in. I can just inside the square sorry braces, just use it is dev, right? Yeah, dev and prod. So this will also um, select. But if you see here, this is a way of using equality based selectors, but I can also use this in the set based format. Simply replace not equal to in not in. Okay, but if you're using selector based set based selectors, I have to put them in the brackets like this,
Okay.
otherwise it will throw me
So
away.
now you have shown us like how to select based on a label and the value. So depending on the value of the label, you have selected few pods. For
Yes.
example, I need something like, so if a pod doesn't have, or if a pod has, like any one of the condition you can take. So if a
Okay.
pod has, or it doesn't have ingress, like for example, let's say whichever the pod doesn't have ingress, I want the list of those pods.
Okay, you want something which doesn't has ingress and you don't
Yes.
want to care about the key. Yeah,
Yeah,
so what I
I don't care about like whether it is a true or false.
okay, so it is kubectl get po and hyphen L for selection, and I can just use not operator, not ingress. Then it will
Right.
simply select everything which doesn't has the ingress as the key, because I don't want to care about the value.
Okay. And so for example, let's say now you can see ingress as true, false and all, right? So
Yes.
now my question is, so I want to get the pods which are there in dev, but in that the ingress should be disabled, means like ingress should be false.
Okay, basically environment dev and ingress is false,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So it is there are two operations, right? So kubectl get po hyphen L, and then first what I'll do is I'll use environment equal to dev. Okay, so this is my first selection, and the next one is ingress should be false, so I can just separate with ingress equal to false. So it will select um, this is kind of the comma over here, it is an AND operation. Okay, it is not OR. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
it is AND operation, so both the conditions should be satisfied. So it should be from dev environment, and it should not have the ingress, it should have the ingress as false. But if I have to write this in the this is from the equality based selectors, but if I have to write it in the set based, it is environment in, and I have to code the value in the brackets, and similarly ingress in, and it should be false. So this is how we filter them.
Okay. So actually that's all I have on the labels and selectors. So in the further coming videos, we will discuss more on like service object and other Kubernetes objects and all. But
Sure.
for that, those are the questions that I had on labels and selectors.
Okay,
So thank you so much, Vikram, also for
thank you,
letting me
Dikshit.
know all the answers and all. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.